So, the average person walks 150 million steps in a lifetime. But how many go somewhere new? I'm talking about those first steps, next steps, even missteps. The steps that move us all forward. Those are the ones that count. Let's keep walking.
We live at the speed of life. It can be seen as a series of opportunities. The things we do and places we go are to craft a better tomorrow. Because life is truly what happens between you and your destination. And for those who see the possibilities, there is a Lexus. The luxury you know just became more refined. The new Lexus ES. Refinement crafted.
There are two goals common to all of us: create legacy and achieve growth. What you neglect today might be what matters the most to your loved ones and family members. At Legacy Growth, we help protect your wealth and create structures for asset protection and governance. While everyone needs a basic will, many families must establish a family trust. Your purpose is our mission, fostering legacy and ushering growth.
Good evening, everyone. A very, very warm welcome to all of you. I'm Shoma Chaudhary. I'm the founder of Lucid Lines. We're a company that's passionate about the power of conversation and words. We really believe that words are action and that they change those who speak and those who listen. And particularly in our very turbulent, troubled times, we wanted to bring the value back of words and to speak them with care and to understand the ripple effects that they can have. So the vision driving this company really is to consider ourselves and everyone who participates with us as thought seeders. So it's a real pleasure to have all of you here today. This is our first edition in Delhi. We've been doing it in Gurgaon and Chennai. And the idea of Ignition really is driven by this vision that it's keys to different worlds, and we seek to bring together people from differing perspectives, differing geographies, differing ideologies and dispensations, personal journeys, public issues, bring it together in a place which is evidence-based, rational, and a place where we can hear each other think. And so it gives me a lot of pleasure to thank those who make this possible. Absolutely foremost amongst them, the people who really make this possible is Shiv Nadar Foundation. Please give them a huge round of applause. Shiv Nadar Foundation has been set up eponymously by Mr. Shiv Nadar himself, the founder of HCL Technologies, one of India's largest technology companies. And it believes in creative philanthropy, in the transformative power of education. Particularly also they have eminent institutions, colleges, schools, in Noida, in Gurgaon, in Chennai. But what is absolutely wonderful about them is that they are also very committed to providing the power of education to those who are disenfranchised and economically not as powerful. So they have Shiksha Initiative and the Vidya Gyan, and a huge alumni of more than 1 lakh that they have impacted a wonderful, caring ecosystem of teachers. And as I said, they have really backed us from the word go, because they believe, like us, with the power of words and a life of the mind. So a huge thank you to Shiv Nadar Foundation. We'd also like to thank those who are keeping us very warm. They really believe in the spirit of warmth. Johnny Walker, the Diageo Group. But it's not just their liquids that make us so glad to partner, but that again, their vision really does resonate with our own intention, because their core idea is to build societies that are diverse, that are embracing of all, and that are resilient. Their tagline of keep walking is something that all of us really do at varying levels in our lives need to embrace. So of course, all of those who are feeling the comfort of their spirits in you, do give them a big round of applause as well. We'd like to thank Lexus, who've been partnering with us again, both in Chennai and Gurgaon, and now here in Delhi. Again, they, of course, are the makers of beautiful cars, and they have a wonderful car there, a hybrid NS350H. And I always say that these are not just statutory thank yous. It is because they all come together that we're able to create a community of curious and discerning people. So when we do give you a cocktail break from all our conversations, please do go have a look at the car, shower it with love, please ask to drive it. I hope there's some of you here who can afford it. But the reason why they really have partnered with us again is because they really believe in creating emotional experiences, luxury with conscience. They believe in the importance of energy transition, and this car is a hybrid car. It's reliable. They have exquisite craftsmanship inside the car. So it really is a kind of distillate of all good things coming together. So as I said, please do go and inquire about the car. We also have DLF as our partners. Of course, in Gurgaon, they're synonymous with 21st century living. A lot of people have left Delhi and gone to Gurgaon, and DLF is the magnet that takes us all there, and I'm one of them. But they are, partnering with us here. And of course, they are synonymous with office buildings, with luxury residencies. But as I said, they're here because they hope to seduce some more of Delhi citizens away to Gurgaon. So big thank you to them as well. And then Legacy Growth, who are partnering with us for the first time. We are delighted to have them. They're an advisory company with a global footprint. They're here in India, but they're also in the US, Canada, Dubai, Singapore, UK. And they create bespoke solutions for family succession planning, for investment, for business expansion. I spoke to them myself, not because I have anything to expand, but really understanding their vision. And it was wonderful because they're really not chasing large numbers. What they're chasing is to create very personalized, deeply understanding the dynamics, particularly of HNIs and of family groups. Their founders are here right now. Anand Jain, Suraj Malik, and Shweta Kalra. Do reach out to them. They have a desk outside. And for the Ignition community, they've offered free one-to-one consultations, so it's a great opportunity. So big thank you to them. I'd also like to take a quick moment to thank our own team at Lucid Lines. It's a young, wonderful, passionate team. There's Ritika, there's Taruna, Aishwarya, Navamita, Manik. Manik, that's a story I'm going to keep for Manoj. We also have Noor and Dipanshu, Himanshu, Dipanjali, Kamal, and my own partner, my soulmate, my co-traveler, Aditya Puri. So a big thank you to everybody that makes this possible, and Brand Avatar, our production team. Now, before we plunge into the evening, I'm going to take a nepotistic 3 minutes of your time to announce another big platform that we are creating that we are super excited about. Our first edition was earlier this year, and people said it was the most mind-expanding experience they'd ever been to. It's called Synapse. It's about the intersection between science, technology, and society. And the reason none of us really are science and tech people, but we wanted to create a platform where this would become a live wire, visible presence in our life, because science and tech is literally the new hand of God in our lives. It's shaping everything from geopolitics to genes, parenting, creativity, war, work, the future of business, of climate change, of health. Everything that you can think of, science and tech is imbued in our lives, and yet we think of it as a domain of others. So we wanted to create something which will make it as germane, relatable, and urgent as politics or religion or cinema or cricket or the things that preoccupy us. Because truly today, science and tech are the new structures of power. So we're going to take 3 minutes of your time to show you a little bit of the energy of this platform. We are announcing the new edition today. It's on 22nd and 23rd of February at the Meridian in Gurgaon. We had more than 1,400 people who came from across the country and the world for it. We converge everybody from Nobel laureates and Pulitzer winners, from people who are absolutely pushing the boundaries of what it means to be human, to Hollywood actors, cinema, sports athletes, technologists, ethicists, philosophers. We're really converging worlds to draw attention to this new force in our lives. We'd love to have all of you there. We have a registration table outside, and just 3 minutes of your time before we plunge into the reason why all of you are here gathered today. Thank you so much. I'm Shoma Chaudhary. I'm the founder of Lucid Lines. Actually, science and tech is the new hand of God that is reshaping everything. What we, at the heart of it, want to look at is the dynamic, the shifting, disturbing, exhilarating, complicated dynamic between nature, humans, and technology.
The anxiety is about whether technology will change what it means to be human.
No one in this room is going to say that the future world in which we exist is going to be simpler.
This immense machine that nobody really understands how it works. It's similar to How to Train a Dragon, where we don't have a set playbook.
How do we constrain the political power of the large technology companies who are responsible for generating it?
So do you think this is one of the biggest tests of democracy that we've had?
It doesn't have imagination. It doesn't have passion. It doesn't even have an unhappy childhood.
Now, if I create something on Sora, does it belong to me or does it belong to Sora?
The people who survive will be the masters. And why do you want to, why creative people want to create? There's a very fire in your belly, you want to say something.
So no, just for the moment, just humor us. गाना गा दो.
आप AI से गवाइए ना. सोनू की क्या जरूरत?
About new technologies, about new ways of thinking, about new ways of interacting.
Stupendous. Most well-organized event.
We're going through, in effect, two climate changes in once. One in the change of the climate, and one in the change of the climate of technology.
Maybe we actually have almost a moral duty to spread light, intelligence, consciousness, and complexity in the universe.
If you think the holy grail is consciousness, these drugs allow you to shift consciousness.
Birds and whales use quantum navigation. So if they can do it, we can do it.
I'm a risk taker. I'd rather try to do something I felt would be really, really important. I'd rather try and fail than not try.
We've since implanted 6 individuals with this technology, and they're all similarly able to independently control a device with thought alone.
Scientists themselves are very uncomfortable with what you did.
This medicine is for the people. I'm here to fight for their biological freedom.
There is a new view of what technology and its role in society has to be. And that is coming from India.
India is going to be the land of open source.
Quantum mechanics violates realism.
AI is one more proof of the uniqueness of consciousness, and I'll tell you why.
As I said, sorry to use this opportunity to get your attention on that, but the registration table is outside, and I look forward to some of you signing up. But now let's dive into the thing that we've all been waiting for, a conversation with the absolutely inimitable Manoj Bajpayee. Manoj has been riveting us on screens for more than 30 years, and this year, in fact, it's exactly 30 years since he left a small village in Patna, in Bihar, with a dream in his mind that was against all the odds. And today, we should have really called the session, How Does He Do It? Because he enters characters and roles in such absolutely borderless ways that he makes them come alive and Manoj Bajpayee disappears. But that hero that we see on screen has had a journey and an arc which truly is a hero's journey, because it's driven with self-belief, with every kind of odd, with real challenges and difficulties, and yet he's powered on with one singular-minded, absolutely unshakable goal, and that was to live and breathe on screen. So to understand that journey, to understand the psyche, that when the entire world is stacked against you and pushing back on you, what keeps you moving still? To understand what it takes to be Manoj Bajpayee, to understand what it means to struggle and to thrive and to sustain and to win. We are going to call him on stage very soon. I'm not going to read out his whole CV because we know that he's a national award winner. He's won many, he's done Family Man, Shul, Satya, Gangs of Wasipur. The CV is way too long. But what really is amazing about him is that spirit and that journey and the craft. So before we call him on stage, again, we're going to show a very tiny snippet of his sheer canvas of work. And when our jaws are dropped, we'll have him on stage. So I'll just show that on screen.
कलेक्शन जिताया कौन? भिकू मात्रे। मुंबई का किंग कौन? भिकू मात्रे।
कितना कहीं नहीं दिखाई यहाँ पर।
दिखता ठीक ठाक हूँ, पैसे वैसे हैं मेरे पास, माना कि बदमाश हूँ।
बादशाह की गली में आके उसका पता नहीं पूछते, गुलामों के झुके हुए सर खुद ब खुद रास्ता बता देते हैं।
मेरे को सब पता है किसका क्या 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 हूँ। फोमो, लोलो, रोफलो, गांड में ले लो। Am I drunk?
कहाँ बवासीर बना दिए हो? मारते हैं कसाई मोहल्ला जाता है कलकत्ता। डर के आगे जीत है, जो जीता वही सिकंदर इसकी माँ का बोल।
तनी नाची गाई सबके मन बहलावर भैया, तनी नाची गाई सबके मन बहलावर भैया, तनी नाची। का भैया पहचान नहीं रहे हो?
ये रावण है, रावण। इसे कतई नहीं छोड़ा जाना चाहिए।
जिया है बिहार के लाला, अरे जिया तू 1000 साला।
You love me.
नाची गाई सबके मन बहलावाए भैया, नाची गाई सबके।
इतिहास अगर कुछ याद रखेगा तो सिर्फ इस बात को, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं।
करारा जवाब मिलेगा।
Go.
Don't be a minimum guy.
That's good, my boy. Do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Manoj Bajpayee. Thank you so much for coming, Manoj. I just want to share with the audience that I have chased Manoj for 2 years. For 2 years for a date from him. And now that he gave it, we jumped at it. And that's why we're here in Delhi. And Manoj, I just want to tell you that so large is the fan following you have that people have driven all the way from Gurgaon to here. And my colleague Manik, who's just had a baby this morning, his wife said, baby doesn't matter, go see Manoj. You know, so he's here in the audience, and his wife gave him permission to come here. You know.
Thank you very much. And Manik, I just met him in the wings there. Congratulations to him and to his wife. It's such a great moment, and I'm really grateful to his wife for letting him be here. Because I know that if she doesn't give the permission and she finds out that he was here, he's done for the life. Yeah.
So, Manoj, you know, as I was saying earlier, that just a snippet of your work shows just how awe-inspiring your craft is, you know. And it's amazing in Family Man, Shrikant Tiwari, who's really holding up the sky, trying to manage his family, trying to manage his work, saving the nation. But when he gets his hero's medal, even that is not in the public eye, you know. So I wanted to ask you that if you were to give yourself a hero's medal in silence, what would it be that you would give yourself a hero's medal for? You know, what are you proud of? What do you think is courageous about your own journey?
Well, sometimes I'm quite amazed at my own persistence. It's not been an easy journey, as you all know, coming from a place where I come from. Every time I go back to my village, the only thing that strikes me is, how could you do it? You know, so this is what, and every day I give myself a medal, and also kind of wake myself up to the fact that, no way you are going to let it go to your mind, and keep your focus and just keep working hard. Because at the end of the day, life is never about achievements. It's only about the process and the journey. And that I keep reminding myself of, because there is no, there can be, one junction somewhere where you can afford to get out to have a glass of water, but the train you have to get back in. Just keep reminding myself of that, nothing else.
So, Manoj, what gave you this audacity of imagination in the first place? That you were a farmer's child in Bilwa, which is so far away even from Patna. How was this dream born? And, you came to Delhi when you were 18. You knew nobody here. You had a 500 rupee note in your pocket. Where did that idea of even becoming an actor come from? And, just those early years, what was the most difficult part of breaking through into becoming an actor?
I don't know. I think I was always a very stubborn child. My parents had 6 children. And it was very difficult for my parents to take care of one child, that was me, because of my stubbornness, because I was bored in my village, if you ask me. And at the age of 18 and a half, I left my village. But that boy was, by then was bored of the green that he was surrounded by, of the fields that his house was surrounded with. I just wanted to get out because there were dreams in my eyes. I wanted to become an actor. This is something that completely fascinated me, and I started participating in elocution contests. I was doing well. Wherever I could be on stage, I went there. I very soon in my life, somewhere God made me realize that I was not meant to be there. I was meant to be on stage or doing everything that I could as an actor, not as anything else. And single-mindedly, I was pursuing that. If I was not stubborn, if I was not full of audacity, I wouldn't have left my village, because no way, in those days, where the infrastructure was almost zero, you could reach Patna, right, from my village. Even going to Patna used to be a big event for any family member of ours. हम जा रहे हैं, 2 महीने के बाद जाने वाले हैं, फला जाने वाले हैं, पटना जाने वाले हैं, 2 महीने के बाद जाने वाले हैं, उसकी बातचीत अभी से शुरू हो जाती थी. So you can imagine the place I come from. It's sheer stubbornness, which used to be a negative point of me when I was a child. When it got channelized, it became a positive point. I mean, till now, the same stubbornness, same audacity, I don't know, I think it comes from where I come from. It's only because of that I could come here, come this far.
When you were talking about stubbornness, it reminded me of something Manoj shared about his mother. He said she's somebody with a temper, with energy, with aggression, and that during COVID she got corona and COVID, and everyone was telling her to take a rest, and they said, "Aapko corona hua hai," and she said, "Main corona ko ho jaungi."
Yeah, my mother was like that. Till the time she breathed her last, she was like that. She never wanted to be on that bed in a hospital. She hated that fact, and she kept on telling all my brothers and sisters that please poison me. I don't want to be here. So that is the kind of lady she was. She was herself very stubborn. She was herself very audacious. She was everything that I am today. And both of us, didn't like each other in one room. So, so we always fought with each other. So because I always told my mom that I'm like you, and I'm not liking the fact I'm like you, because you sometimes really irritate me, annoy me. And she used to tell me that you annoy me, please don't come to this house. So there used to be this mother-son fight all the time. So, the same temperament, 2 people in one room, cannot exist. But how it all panned out, that today my WhatsApp DP is of my mother, so it's though I was completely enamored by my father's gentleness, politeness, And every time I used to remind my mother that had it not been my father, somebody else would have divorced you. You are unbearable.
But, when you're saying that you had this absolute burning desire to go there, to Delhi, you did not know the language. You were not, there was nobody there in the city that you knew. You arrive at Minto Bridge, and there's a thought in your mind that you are going to make a name in the city. So today, all of us celebrate you when you have made a name in the city, not just the city, the country and the world. But that journey, Manoj, into turning you into an artist, what did that take? I think that core way in which you trained to become an actor is a really heroic story, So give us some sense that you were wanting to get into NSD, but you failed 4 times. You wanted to commit suicide. So in that period, what kept you going? What was the relationship with your art that kept you going?
Okay, I think, I was very observant as a child, so if you are shy, then definitely you are like a fly on the wall. And being in that kind of a mental state, or what is the advantage that you are observing everyone? You are also observing yourself and your advantages and disadvantages about yourself. Somewhere I realized that there are too many things that I have to learn when I reach Delhi. A, the craft of stage and acting. B, good Hindi, because I came from Bihar, though it was Hindi medium, but my school, but still the pronunciation and the right way of speaking Hindi wasn't there. English was zero, almost zero, though it was a Catholic school. But English was just there as one subject. Somewhere I realized that if I have to compete in this big bad world of cosmopolitan city, I have to learn the ways of the city, and which I was lacking completely. And as an actor, those days, most of the actors who were appearing, whether in theatre, Nasruddin Shah, or in cinema, Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, all of them, they had good Urdu, good Hindi, good English. So somewhere I observed one fact that if you are good at what you do, that's not sufficient. You have to be good at most of the things. How you speak, how you communicate, all of these skills. So yeah, सीखने को बहुत था, and time कम था मेरे पास. So I could not waste even a day, even a moment here in Delhi. And Delhi has given me a lot. My theatre days, my teachers, all those people, all those teachers in Delhi University, Dilip Simian, Salim Kidwai, I remember them, so fondly. Those were the people who are always pushing you, mentoring you, making you feel that you are not an odd person out. If you are not concentrating on history graduation, you are also concentrating and focusing on something which is somewhere clear in your mind. So all of these teachers, there were too many people and the friends supporting me with little bit of, with my share of money in the kitchen, and giving me clothes to wear, supporting me morally, emotionally. So away from home, these were my families, and these were the people who, and eventually Barry John. When he happened to me, it was like a unicorn, He was somewhere, I don't know what made him believe in me and mentor me. For 7-8 years I was with him. And I must tell you that today, whoever I am today and however I am today as a person or an actor is purely because of Barry John. His 200% belief in this village boy. I don't know what he saw in me. The anger was too much in me, and the only thing that used to bother him was my anger, which was just everywhere, And he kept on channelizing, kept on giving me work, kept on giving me assignments. And that's how everything started, falling in place.
So, I'm going to come back to this idea of anger, Manoj, but you've spoken earlier about language, and, we were talking earlier that this literally is a company that believes in words. It's a community that cares for words. How did you teach yourself the language as you are comfortable today, because you're already 18, you weren't going to formal language schools or anything like that. How did you train yourself to actually become as fluent as you did and to enter, the craft, the honing of the craft, both in terms of language and the body, what were you doing that made you then eventually, when Satya was offered to you and Gangs of Wasipur, that when the knock came, you were ready? So talk to us about your body and your language.
Till the real opportunities started arriving, including Satya or Bandit Queen, till then I was really into it, 200% into it. Really, I don't remember wasting my time at all for so many years. The poetry recitation, which I used to be majorly part of during my school days, Hindi poetry, that was a big thing about me. There used to be no theatre culture from my small town where I was in boarding. So the only thing which was giving me a chance to be on stage was poetry recitation or elocution contest, as you call it. So I used to take it very seriously. That has given me some idea that I have to keep memorizing poems and reciting it in my room. English, the reading Times of India was a huge task for me, I must tell you. I still remember when
Times of India should give itself a medal
if
they played any role in shaping you.
No, because all of those people who were sharing rooms, that Barsati room with me, they were all UPSC applicants. So every morning there used to be one or two newspapers, and Times of India was the main one. So one day I got up and wrote the headline, "The colleges will be shut, sign die." I said, okay, colleges will be shut is fine. What is sign die? So it all started with my fascination for the language. And somewhere I thought that, if I learn this language, I will achieve quite a lot in really communicating in this big city. And somewhere it will shorten my journey. Just be seen with the right people. If you are, and if you can't talk, then you'll be left behind. If you can't communicate and be present, you'll be left behind. Those were the days when Basant Bihar used to be a model colony, right? हम लोग भी देखने जाते थे बसंत बिहार को कि बाहर से कि कैसे लगते हैं बंगले. अलग लोग, अलग तरीके की बातें, and so really working on, and then watching TV news, everything that is happening in English, understanding, observing, practicing.
Yeah.
Once I found myself walking to Monday House from university, and I used to give imaginary interviews in English. So I'm walking and giving interviews in English. So there was none to judge me. And even in university, I was telling somebody the other day that all my Bihari friends used to speak to me in Bhojpuri, here at university, or they used to speak to me in Bihari accent Hindi, okay? That used to be so heavy. Or my, English speaking friends, they used to make a mockery of my English. So I realized that, this is not the way I'm going to learn. So I found a friend in my college who came from Kenya or Nigeria.
Right.
So he was not judging my English, I was not judging his English. We were... So I used to talk to him in English all day. He used to talk to me in English all day. And he was my best friend for those 3 years. So for all my English speaking, classes, I used to go to him. So, those little, small things one has done for years. And
I think, sorry, you were saying?
So no, I mean, today when I see my daughter, not really managing it with great difficulty in speaking Hindi, and I'm really on her head. But now she is far better now. But it's both ways. If a child is coming from Hindi medium school, is finding it difficult in English outside. If a child is coming from English medium school, he's That child is finding it very difficult in any other language outside. So when I look at her, I see Manoj Bajpayee, who's always been struggling with English.
No, I thank you so much for sharing that, Manoj. I wanted to share this because this idea of perseverance is such a heroic strand in your life, you know, and I'm just going to dwell one or two moments more on this before we shift gear. That, you know, I cannot understand why NSD did not take you 4 times, drove you to a point of suicide, which is, or thinking of suicide, which is amazing. But, and that you were part of a street theater, you did more than 600 plays. And if I remember correctly, that 365 days, you never missed a beat, you know. So that was the kind of dedication with which you were preparing yourself. But I wanted to ask you, Manoj, that you are so immersive in your roles. You know, Manoj Bajpayee just disappears. So you really used your body, your eyes, your expression. But I was reading somewhere, and I think we've chatted about it before, that in addition to coming from you know, from Bihar, rural Bihar, where there was no framework, you also had no sense of being a good-looking man. You didn't like your face. You didn't like looking into the mirror. So then how did you forge that relationship with your body, this confident relationship where today you can use it with such consummate skill like a violin, you know? How did that relationship with your body get formed?
Okay, I was reading an interview of Mr. Kamal Hassan when I was in college, where he said that to understand the body language, he started learning Kathak, Bharatanatyam, right? And every actor should learn one form of dancing just to understand his or her body, and that somewhere, you know, clicked with me. When I started doing theater at Mandi House, I trained myself in Mayurbhanj Chhau, knowing that, you know, if I have to know my body, then I have to you know, train myself in one form of dancing, and Mayurbhanj Chhau was the right form of dancing, which could really help an actor. So I purposely didn't go for classical dances. I went for semi-classical dance. That is Mayurbhanj, which is one part is martial art, and the other part is adai and dancing. Okay, and that really helped me for 4 or 5 years. Rigorously, I every morning 7 o'clock, I used to be in the class. So that has helped me to understand my body. Somewhere I felt that if you are an actor, this whole, what do you call, the whole game of subtle acting is all false, you know, because, you know, invariably you realize that subtle acting, according to me, you know, please don't hang me for this, subtle acting somewhere is also not involving your rest of the body. But when you see any of the people who are sitting here, they are not, it's not that this part is alive and the other part is dead, right? So each and every part of your body is involved when you are into real being, right? So, and body language really helps you in understanding that. So, just a subtle acting is not a complete acting. If it is that, it doesn't involve all of your breathing, all of your muscles, all of your blood flow. So I think for many years I kept on working on how to use each and every part of your body and transform yourself into another person, another character which you are playing on the screen or on stage, mainly on stage. Shoma, you can't perform if your body language is not right.
So, and I asked you about the other facet, which is just whether you shared that it had been ingrained into you that you're not a good-looking man, you know. So how did that, I hope today that understanding of yourself has changed. We should take how many of you think that Manoj is a good-looking man, you know?
It's embarrassing.
but how did you get over that self-belief? You know, and the reason I'm asking so much, Manoj, is because there was these early years, and then you had another phase, you know, even after Satya and Gangs of Wasipur, when you had complete downslides in your life, when there was stasis, and you just kept going, you kept going. So I really wanted to understand, like I said, the psyche of perseverance, you know. And there are all these things stacked against you. You're not well off, you don't have language, you don't have framework, you know. And then there's the relationship with your own body. So in this time of despair, and when you're just pushing yourself, I remember once you told me that this audacity can't be in thin air, you know, heroism can't happen in thin air, and it's something that's really stayed with me when Manoj said, you can want to be a hero, you can declare yourself a hero, but you have to prepare to be a hero, you know. And so for me, that preparation of yours, Manoj, is a very exciting story. So how did your relationship with your own face and your own body in terms of self-esteem, when did it change and has it changed?
Okay, see, when I was growing up, when I started watching films with my parents, over the years I realized that, you know, there is a perception of the filmmakers and the producers and the industry that this is a good-looking guy and this is not a good-looking guy. So he's a good-looking guy, so he can be a hero, or he can play God, and this guy cannot play God. This guy can only play devil or evil man. So it's not Manoj Bajpayee is doing it. So whatever whatever happened to me mentally about my looks, it didn't come from me. It came from outside. And somewhere in that fragile age, I got impacted by it, okay? Well, it took me many years to come to terms with the fact that there's nothing called good looking. It's always about how you look at the person and what the person is and what he does and how he behaves and how he is in life or in his profession. This will determine how good the person is and how good looking he is. And each and every person's point of view or perspective is going to be different. But that happened to me much later. Since I was impacted and affected by everything that was said about me and my looks, it's somewhere, I was fragile enough mentally. But one thing I've realized that in cinema or on stage, it's not only about this, it's also about the whole thing, okay? How I involve my whole body when I'm playing a character. And when I got into cinema, I stopped looking at the monitor. Even till now, I think I'm one of those rarest actors, I realized, and I've been told that who doesn't care about how he looks on the screen. I don't even go and watch the monitor. Many times directors insist, even then I don't go and watch it. Because I personally feel that is the moment an actor is obsessed with his looks, he's going to be very conscious of the fact how he should be performing, in what angle he should perform, so that he will look good. The moment he will start thinking about his looks and how he's going to look, his focus is going to go away from the character he's playing. So and today I'm proven right that whoever is interested in how they are looking in the frame, in the given frame, is actually not focusing on their character. Rather, they are focusing on in which angle they are looking great, and that's how they are going to keep their face, in front of the camera, which I was not interested in. I have always been fascinated with playing the characters, not really fascinated with how I'm looking in front of the camera. I'll let the camera do its job, and I just completely 100% focusing on the character I'm playing.
So, Manoj, you've spoken about your mother's anger and the kind of conflict that the two of you would have. And you said you yourself were a very angry man, especially when you were young. You had a lot of fallouts, you had a divorce, you had relationships with directors, friends that broke up. So tell us a little bit about that. Why did those core relationships break? And the reason I'm asking that is, again, that a lot of us can draw different resonances, from your journey and your struggle. Everyone is unique, but there are lots of understandings when creative relationships fall apart. And the second was that, how did you transmute that? How did you transform yourself into being a much more still person? What was those pivotal things that happened to you?
Look, I was an angry person. Anger was an issue with me. But you know,
How did it manifest? Like,
I mean, what I have realized that I was angry at everything, you know. So I was at all moments I used to be angry. If somebody is shouting and making noise in the green room and I'm focusing, I used to be really pissed off. I was to be so angry, so upset. Just the other day, Gajraj Rao was reminiscing the fact that I shouted at all of them in the green room. I felt embarrassed that he's talking about it in front of the media. But he was stating the fact. I was angry at the way many people were treated not so fairly. Even today, it upsets me. If I see unfairness or hierarchy on my set, it really it angers me. Even now, it's just that now anger is much more channelized. My introduction to the spiritual aspect of life and the few of the spiritual processes which were given to me to practice. Today I can say that I'm much better in calming myself, much better in understanding myself, and much better in understanding where my anger is to come from, right? So it all came from my childhood. This is my understanding. The childhood, my mother not really understanding fully. She was she had too much work at her hand, where she had to take care of 6 children and also take care of the household, which was always struggling to find some balance. However I was treated physically by her. She used to beat me. Beat all of us up, but I used to get extra beating from her. I somewhere felt that, you know, she never could understand me. That anger was always there. Then the anger was also towards how my father was being treated by few of the people in our neighborhood, just because he was such a polite and gentle person. My anger was also at people who bullied me in my hostel, and I was this very shy and reserved kind of a person who could not express himself in front of my parents, that this is how I'm being tortured. So anger had many reasons. It's just that I never sat down to really look within and found the reason for all those angry aspects of mine. It's only 7, 8 years or 11 years back, when it was a lean patch, I started meditating. You know, out of the blue, it was a bad time. It was really tough going. I started meditating, waking up at 5 o'clock. That was the time I decided to quit hard liquor and also promise myself that I will not have dinner in the evening. I will wake up at 5 o'clock and I'll meditate. Even if I don't know how to meditate, I'm going to close my eyes and focus on my breathing. Later on, I realized that this is the way you meditate. But that started helping me. And, you know, slowly it took me 10 years, Shoma. Today I can say I'm 80% improved. Today I can say that I can really see where I was wrong. And I can see the world very openly. There is no blurry sight in front of me. I wish somebody has introduced me to yoga and meditation when I was in school. I would have been I would have been a healed child. I was not a healed child. I was a bruised child when I came out of my village to Delhi University.
Thank you very much, Manoj. That's just like a very powerful story to share with us, you know. And I think we now people talk about mental health much more, but not of anger, you know. I mean, there's so much anger in so many families, in society, and it's not given the kind of attention that it needs. So thank you for sharing that story. I just wanted to share with the audience, we'll come to some of your roles, Manoj, that when we're talking about Manoj's heroism and his conviction, there were other facets, which was that in their family, you know, the assumption was that your father wanted to be a doctor, and he wanted you to be a doctor. You know, also Manoj married for love and then was the first to ever have a divorce in that community. So there was just so many things stacked up against you. You had to follow your dream in the face of your parents wanting you to be somebody else. And just one last story to share with the audience about from where you've come from, Manoj, is that you said that your father borrowed hugely to put all of you through school, and he used to hide, and that too really played a big role in your own sense of self-esteem. So do share that, and then we'll move to your cinema. You know.
I think that's one of the reasons of my anger. There were too many reasons. One of the reasons is when I used to see my father hiding from the jeep, which we could see coming, approaching our house from a distance, and the jeep used to belong to the bank guys or the cooperative guys. And I really saw my father running and hiding into the cane field. That was not a good sight. It somewhere, you know, didn't do good to me. So all of those years of seeing your father hiding from the banks and the cooperative because he's taken loan and he was not able to really repay. So there are too many memories of the childhood that I was carrying when I landed in Delhi. And somewhere that was also became, just to answer your first, two questions, that was, I think that was also somewhere a pivotal thing in my life where I purposely didn't keep option B in my mind, never. And that not having option B somewhere became the reason for my a miserable state of mind when National School of Drama first time rejected me, when I fell into a complete miserable state of mind or depression. I really didn't know what to do because I never had plan B. And in 1 month, my friends really supported me to come out of it. I mean, till now, I never had option B because I saw my father, I saw my parents, I saw that, I have 5 siblings. I cannot afford to have option B. It's do or die. You have to, grind, let yourself go through the grind, and you have to reach somewhere to support all of this. Support your dream. And if your dream is somewhere you reach there, you will not only be the only beneficiary, rather your whole family will be the beneficiary. So, and in doing that, in the process, the first victim of my focus and was my first marriage, right? The complete absence of me in the marriage was the reason, okay? Because I was not ready to sacrifice this journey. I could not afford to fail or to stop. I could not afford. But still, I kept on failing, kept on getting back to it, kept on failing, kept on getting back to it because I didn't have option B. There was no option of failing in my life. Even if I was failing, again, coming back to it was the only option I had. I think it's also because it also gave me a reason to be audacious, and also gave me a reason to be stubborn enough all the time, just to fight enough, not only for myself but for the entire family.
So Manoj, you did Satya, and with this context, and I think the audience and I can fully understand the sheer weight of what was riding on your success. You became a complete national celebratory name, and then offers started coming in, and you actually refused those, So that heroism of just wanting to do a certain kind of work, not compromising, is itself huge, So help us understand that. And I was reading a friend of yours, or I think Prakash Jha was saying, that even now when you have mastered OTT and everyone calls you the king of OTT, you're getting offer after offer after offer. You could be building cathedrals in the sky, and you're still choosy, So coming from this kind of background, why were you not taking those offers when they came to you?
Well, whatever little I was earning was enough for me, enough to send it to my parents, right? I was never ashamed. I'm still not ashamed if I have to take an auto rickshaw from outside Taj Singh and go to some place. It's the people with me who are quite ashamed. Okay? So it's very do or die situation for me because I don't want to be late, or who will wait for the driver or the car to arrive. Let us take an auto rickshaw and go. So I find it very normal. My first secretary after Satya, he used to feel quite ashamed and not so good about the fact that his actor is reaching the function or for the interviews in an auto rickshaw. So he managed to get loan for me to buy a car. I didn't like it because it was my father who took loan, and I hated loan because the whole loan business has given such grief to my family. I never wanted to apply it to my life.
But I was also asking about the choice of roles, Manoj, and I suddenly realized
so
that...
I needed the money much more than anyone else. But somewhere, I was being selfish for myself, that God has given me this chance with Satya, right? When I was not even thinking that it will ever fall in my lap. Let's make the best of it, right? So I thought that if I give in to the fact that, I start doing villain's role, they will use me, abuse me, they will throw me away. In 2-3 years, Kanika is sitting here, she will agree with me, and she belongs to the same time that I came in Bombay. The moment they used to use you as a villain to some star or this star or that star, after 5-6 films, there used to be a new face who they could choose for a new villain to that star, this star, some other star. You get old, and in that time you make enough money to have an apartment and one more apartment and one office somewhere which will get you rent. That's it. So I had two options. Either I suffer now and give them an idea as to what they should expect from me and what I want to do, or I should just give in to the lure of the money. I said, no, I'm not going to do a villain's role in this industry, because all they can think of about Manoj Bajpayee is, अरे इसको हीरो का रोल करा सकते हैं, ये विलन का रोल करा सकते हैं. And there was nothing else they could think of. So I had to say no to roles. I had to say no to so much money. I mean, you will not believe, once one producer came to me with a suitcase full of money. I was staying in this 2-bedroom hall, rented apartment. Even the suitcase was taking, I mean, he was coming in with the suitcase with a lot more difficulty, trying to fit into the door. So, and I had to return it back.
I think that deserves an applause, that's amazing, Manoj. That is conviction, and that is true service to art, that's amazing.
No, but somewhere I realized that there was also selfish reason, because if I today I give into this, then there will be hundreds of them coming to me only for villains, and I will not be able to break through. So I had to take that risk, and I stuck to it till Ram Gopal Verma, he's given me Shul. After Shul, things started changing. Yeah.
So Manoj, I want to quickly, we have some other wonderful speakers, so I don't have time. We could talk for 5 hours with you. Is some of the roles that you've done, I would love for you to talk about the way you played Professor Siras in Aligarh, how you interpreted being gay, and why that was so unique in the way you did it. And also some of your roles, you've been so immersed that it drove you to therapy. People close to you were worried for you. Your wife now, Shabana, literally said, put an end to this. So tell us a little bit now about your craft and how you lose yourself so much. So both Aligarh, maybe Gali Gulaya, do share with the audience. And I want to just tell you that when he got the role to be a bandit with Shekhar Kapoor in Bandit Queen, the moment he got the role, Manoj stopped brushing his teeth. And he did not brush for 1 month.
Even I didn't wash my hair.
I'm very glad we are not your wife,
Yeah, I used to go to that extent, foolishly. But for Aligarh, I must tell you that with each and every role, the script tells me how to approach the role. With Aligarh, I realized that this is about a professor who teaches at Aligarh University, and he teaches Marathi. And the another facet about his personality was that he was a big fan of Lata Mangeshkarji's singing. And the another facet of his personality was he was in love with his, 2 pecks of whiskey every evening. Other than that, I didn't work on anything. I convinced myself that I'm not going to work on his being gay. Because for me, being gay was just a matter of choice. It was not talking about who he is as a professor or who he is as a person. So, purpose, that was intentionally I didn't work him. The only way I tried to show him a little effeminate was sitting like this, the way I'm sitting. That's it. The rest of the things were only revolving around him being a professor, Marathi, with a love for the language, love for Lata Mangeshkar singing, and love for his whiskey. It's all about love. It's all about love, and this is the love that he was in his being. And his misery, his loneliness, everything came from the fact that his interpretation and definition of love is still not understood in the world. So the entire characterization came from there. So, you will be surprised to know that I was completely immersed into the role. 24 hours I was serious. But at no point I felt miserable. At no point serious troubled me. I always felt very spiritual. For some strange reason, when I was playing, I used to feel bliss. I used to feel happiness inside, like a yogi feeling it, I was in that state of mind. And I, always said this, that Sirius has improved me as a person. But Gali Guliyan, it completely disturbed me. For 2 months, 3 months, I was living this, Khudus was the character. The character was, please watch it on Amazon. I know I have to promote this film every time. It drove me to a state where I started feeling that I could hear a whistle blowing in my ear. And I started getting worried on the shoot. And I spoke to my director. I said, "You'll have to stop it." He said, "Yeah, I'll stop it. What's happening to you?" I said, "I can hear whistle in my brain." And it was like a cooker whistle. And I spoke to my doctor. He spoke to his doctor. Immediately I was given sedative. I was put to sleep. So I was, this character preparation has really driven me to that stage of breakdown. Once I was in my house, in my apartment, I was going from kitchen to my room, and suddenly my wife said, "Did you say something?" I said, "No." I said, "But Manoj, you are talking to yourself. Please, take care of yourself. I will have to stop this method of yours, change it to something else, because I can see you talking to yourself, which is not a good sign." So, it's the script which tells you how far you should go in being the character. Few of the roles, I don't try that much. I just work on it from outside, like Family Man. I cannot afford to get inside the character because it's a series, and in our country we don't have that luxury of shooting in such a way where you can be in the character every time. One schedule is happening in January and one schedule is happening in March. In between you have to finish other things, right? So Family Man is not something where you will see that I'm completely, but that's another way. You try to visit it from other side and stay into the character for that long and come out. But that's a very Brechtian kind of approach.
So as I said, Manoj, we could carry on forever, but we are going to have to stop here. But thank you so much for sharing your journey. And for me, like just listening to it, it's like to have this purity of intent, Manoj. We were talking about the Heroism Award earlier, is that you opened up space for so many others, by this absolute commitment that you will do work in a particular way and on your terms with the entire world stacked against you. meant that you opened up doors for so many others and for different quality of stories and cinema in India.
I mean, look,
you know?
Shoma, I mean, I'm going to really, you are going, I will let you end it, but I must tell you that, you know, once you leave your village, your comfort zone to chase your dream, then I should only be chasing my dream and not somebody else's dream, right? So I'm only chasing my dream.
One last insight, Manoj, is that when things are going so wrong, you know, you were getting bad reviews and everything. I've asked this question to you before, and I think your answer is something I'd love to share with the audience, is that how do you know when not to change your dream? You know, when everything is going wrong. To persevere is courage, but it can also be foolhardy and foolish, you know. How do you know that I should not change my dream? I should not take another path? How should one know that?
I mean, I got all the method and the ways, you know, even while I was on journey. I'm still in journey. It's very simple, actually. I have to get into the best restaurant here in Taj Mansingh. So that's my goal tonight, right? But I reached the gate of Taj Mansingh and I realized there is a VIP moment here, so I can't get in. So there is an obstruction to get into the restaurant. So what should I do? Should I change my plan of having good Indian food at Taj Mansingh and have a glass of wine? Should I leave that dream or desire to do that? I will not. I will not. I will go for a quick drink in Khan Market and try to find out when the VIP moment stops, or try to find out some connection with the general manager here to get into my restaurant. I'll keep trying, but the goal will never change. Yes, in between I'll definitely go to Khan Market or to some other restaurant for a glass of Prosecco here and there. But I'll definitely come back to have my dinner at Taj Mansingh. That's my goal.
Manoj, for the courage of your conviction, really, and the absolute beauty of your craft, thank you so much for joining us today. And it's been wonderful to share this journey of yours. As I said, for me, I can draw many resonances, learnings, and I hope it's been the same for everybody else. So a big salute to you, and thank you for the work that you've been doing.
Thank you, Shoma. Thank you for inviting me here. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. We are immediately going to flow into our next conversation, and then we'll have a cocktail break. We have another wonderful, unique, courageous journey, and this time it is Suvir Saran. And it is very, very important to be Suvir Saran